Alright, this video I wanted to talk about, I make these videos about Obama being a war criminal and a mass murderer, right? And as an American, I'm well within my rights to point out that obvious fact. But just for the record, I've been speaking out against war criminal scumbag Clinton, who is a mass murderer. He's responsible for the death of 1.5 million Iraqis and his underlings. This is a fact. Right? This is not up for debate. It's not an opinion or a revision of history. It's just the truth. And of course, I've been speaking out against war criminal scumbag mass murderer Bush. So I've been assailing these people for decades. Okay? And all that luster and all that respect that used to surround the office of the presidency is gone. Alright, now all we have is just a revolving door of corporate installed war criminals that are installed to do the bidding of their masters. Okay? So when I say that Clinton is a war criminal and a scumbag, and Bush is a war criminal and a mass murderer, I'm including all of their underlings. Condoleezza Rice, right? Roberto Gonzalez, Madeleine Albright. Okay, we're talking about the entire administration. All the people complicit in those crimes would be mass murderers as well. And when I say these type of things, I'm not just saying them because you want to have a reason to gripe and complain. It just has to be pointed out. Now, I was going to dedicate an entire channel just to keeping up with the civilian death tolls as a result of U.S. action in the Middle East. All right? But you just can't keep up with it because there's too much of it, and you got to do some digging around because a lot of stories, like the one I'm about to go over, aren't even covered in the Western media outlets. Okay? So when I call Barack Obama a war criminal and a mass murderer, I mean exactly that. By definition. I don't know what the criteria for mass murder is. I would think that murdering 5 people would be mass murder. Some people would say 10. So when you get into the hundreds and the thousands, I don't know what you call that. But I call it what it is. So I want to talk about this story real quick. At least 13 Americans killed as US Apache helicopters shot down in Farah, Taliban. Taliban are claiming that they shot down an Apache helicopter with 13 US service members aboard. And according to this report, which I did not find in the Western media outlets at all, right? They're all dead. Okay, I didn't see it on the Drudge Report. I didn't see it on Fox News. I didn't go to CNN because that site makes me want to puke. I didn't see it on news.google. So, if this is true, right, if this story is substantiated, 13 service members are dead for no reason at all. And their families and all their friends, the lives are going to be destroyed. And if they have children, they're going to grow up with that parent missing from their lives. For nothing. Right? For no reason at all. Not to spread freedom, not to defend the Constitution. All right, not all these bullshit lies that are spread to make people feel guilty about speaking out against the war. All right, it has nothing to do with spreading freedom and democracy. And considering the fact that there have actually been more U.S. service members commit suicide than have died in the military occupation in the Middle East, says a lot. It says that these service members themselves are going through a really hard time. They know that this is a bunch of bullshit, at least a certain amount of them. So 13 Americans wasted. They're gone. Came across this article, and I've made periodic videos about the illegal drone attacks in Pakistan, killing God knows who. Right? Alleged terrorists. Right? Suspected Taliban. You hear this terminology. And this is an article I came across. It's basically saying over 700 killed in 44 drone strikes in 2009. Now remember, we're in 2010, okay? And I've already been watching the death toll mount this year. And like I said, you'd have to dedicate an entire channel just to keeping up on the continuing slaughter of people in the Middle East. All right? These deaths and the 13 soldiers I just mentioned are on Obama's hands and his predecessors' hands. Right? They are war criminals. They are mass murderers. So this is from last year. Okay, and this is a rough estimate. We have no idea how many people were actually killed and are being killed. All right, because as we talked about, that's not always reported in the Western media. All right. Over here, Wikipedia. I'll put that article in the description. And it just goes on to point out that the vast majority of the victims of these drone strikes are civilians. And this story really fucking pissed me off. Alright, and I remember when this happened, and I made a video about it, but I never uploaded it, because it's really just me ranting and yelling at the top of my lungs. Pakistan. Unlawful US drone war kills 140 civilians for one alleged CIA terrorist. It goes on to state that 140 civilians were killed this year in January. And the target, the suspected target, was one alleged terrorist. Those civilian deaths, those senseless murders, are on Obama's hands. He is a mass murderer by definition. All right, there are well over 1,000 casualties, civilian casualties so far in these Predator drone strikes against Pakistan, right? Which, might I add, is a nuclear-armed country. And there are over, what, 200,000 Pakistani Americans. So if someone's family is wiped out, as George Chalente always points out, these people might want to get revenge on other innocent people. Okay? So just a very dangerous game they're playing. And this is just one of the instances. Now, let's not forget about all the people that were killed in Yemen before the failed underwear bombing attack. That's a different story. And last but not least, the other day, this happened, 69 killed in bombings in Iraq. And this is just one of the stories. This happens every 2.5 days on average. All right? And when they talk about injured, that could be missing a leg, it could be died in the hospital later, or it could be a flesh wound. So when you hear about 69 people killed and 100 injured, we don't know how many of those people actually die as a result of their wounds, because that's after the fact. They do the same thing when they tally U.S. forces casualties over there. All right? If they KIA, that's one thing. If they die en route to Germany for medical treatment, that's not reported as KIA. So, now while this is not directly a result of U.S. action, it is a result of our occupation. So these deaths are on Obama's hands. And I just wanted to point that out, is that these people are mass murderers. All right, they are not our leaders. If anything, they are leading the United States into destruction. And it's been going on since I've been paying attention for about a decade. So this is nothing new, but it has a different slant on it. And when it comes to Pakistan, the rising tensions and rhetoric with Iran, the Russians and the Chinese, this is a wholly different game than the atrocities that the Bushes and Clinton have committed against the human race. So when I sit here and I call Barack Obama a mass murderer, there is ample evidence to support exactly what I'm saying. All right, these 13 Americans, their blood is on Obama's hands. These 700 that have been killed in 2009, last year, their blood is on Obama's hands. 140 people to kill one alleged terrorist. That's 139 deaths for one person. That blood is on Obama's hands.